Hey everybody, it's Rhiannon. It's Tuesday, and it's really Tuesday. I'm really doing this on Tuesday. I do have a minute to do a video. It's still been really busy. But this week's topic was to pick our own topic, and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to go over that we haven't already gone over, or what to go over that we weren't going to go over later. So I decided that since for the last 3 weeks you've heard me bitch and moan about being tired and being busy, that the best thing to do for a video is to talk about how to incorporate your magical life in your everyday life. I mean, it should be, but I mean, sometimes it gets really hard. I mean, there are things that I do absently that are just a part of my routine, but I'm talking about things that are a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go over a couple of the things that I've been doing over the last 2 months, I guess, maybe more than that, probably really honestly since I started working the second job. But this is a couple of the things that I've done to make sure that I'm not completely spiritually depleted while I'm pulling my hair out on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that I started doing was, and I do try to do this, like I said, I've said several times in videos that I like to take ritualistic baths before any kind of spell work or any kind of, ritual, whether it be for the holidays or whatever. So what I started doing back in early October was I made a little extra room in my day to, at least once a week, to take baths that were chakra baths. I bought seven stones that were one for each chakra, and I have a selenite slab. It's almost like a full slab of selenite, and I use the selenite to charge the stones, and then I will bathe with the stones and a few herbs depending on what I need to either help me get through the week, help recover from the week, or help prepare for the week ahead. So that was one of the things that I did, and I used that time to either write in my journal to get out any kind of negative feelings or any feelings that I had, period, that I felt I didn't have time to feel. So I used the bath time to realign my chakras and to get my thoughts together and get some of the more heavier thoughts out. I also have gotten really, really good at 5-minute car meditation. Between leaving work at 3 and then coming home, I will take a few extra minutes in the car when I get home to do a little bit of a meditation to clear out the stress from the day before I go inside to start on the second job. Because I feel like if I don't do that, if I had a really crappy day at work and things just didn't seem to go right, it almost feels like if I don't take that time to purge that from me, that anything I try to do for the second job goes to hell in a handbasket. So I try to meditate. I try to purge, cleanse, all of that before I even go in the house to do any housework, to do any work, anything, because I don't want the energy of the day to impact the energy of what I need to do later that night. I've been keeping, I always keep my tarot cards with me, and that's a really good way to do some divination on the go. So that practice I have kept. I try to keep some sort of time to where I can go online and read something for fun, something for myself that is, spiritually related, whether it just be a couple, maybe take the 2 or 3 minutes to find some affirmations for the day, to start your day out. Things like that. Those things are important. You've got to keep your energy clear to focus on what you need to do for the rest of the day. You can't do that if you are not taking any time for yourself, and that's one of the hardest things in the world for me to remember to do, is to take time for myself. And a lot, probably over the past 4 months, has been, sometimes I guess I forget to do that. And when I forget to do that, I know it. And so I try to very hard to make time for, doing yoga, doing the chakra bath, doing the pleasure reading, taking a walk outside barefoot on a pretty day. Today is gorgeous, and I couldn't help but be outside today and doing the video. Spending some time just sitting in a dark room in the evening, trying to connect to Goddess, like I said, walking outside to connect to the earth, because I feel like I've been spinning the last 4 months. So walking barefoot outside has done wonders for grounding me on days where I feel like I could just float out of here because I'm just so stressed. And it seems weird to think of floating and stress, but when I get stressed, it's almost like I can feel myself literally spinning. And do you remember those? I had these little propeller things when I was a kid that when you constantly pulled the trigger and she spun really, 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 really fast. And then when you pulled the trigger, she flew up. That's what I feel like right now. So if I don't take the time to ground myself, if I don't take the time to take those baths, if I don't take the time to do the car meditations, I literally feel like I'm going to spin up and hit the tree or something and just fall right back down. It's been really stressful. I do try to plan everything out for the week, and when I make those plans, I make time in my journal for maybe that particular bath. If I know it's going to be a busy week, I'll do that bath on Wednesday, or make sure that I plan to do my yoga Saturday morning to kind of start the weekend off well. I try to work in those little things that take a little bit more time than, say, the reading of the affirmations. I put that in my planner so that I know that time is going to be spent for me. I'm no good to anybody, my family, my colleagues, or the person that I'm working for after work. I'm no good to any of them if I am out of control spinning in my head because I'm so stressed out. So that's really it. That's how I've kind of kept my head together, I guess, since September, but really the last 4 months. We've been really short-staffed at my main job, so having to bring that home and then do the other job on top of the day-to-day stuff because my husband works very long hours, taking care of the dogs and the laundry and all of that. There's been very little time for me. So those baths and that, 30 minutes of yoga and those 10 minutes of reading affirmations and all of that, that is sacred. And I did not realize how much spare time I actually had when I was always like, I don't have time to do this. I had so much time to do all that, and I don't have that time now. And I literally don't have that time now. And I feel like the biggest jerk ever for being like, I don't have time to do everything. Yes, I did. I had plenty of time. I don't know what I filled my time with before that made me think I didn't have that time. I had that time, and I would love to have that time again. But I don't know. I'm pushing through it. I've taken some time to do some spell work to make sure that I can get through it. It's been interesting, but that is what I do to make time for my spiritual replenishment on busy days. What's interesting is I did it's funny because there's a girl at work that I get the feeling that she's pagan, and she's got a Celtic tattoo on her back, and I noticed it, and she and I kind of sparked up a conversation, and she and I did a polar plunge together this past weekend for the Special Olympics. And after we had jumped, and that water was freezing cold, but after we had jumped, she and I were talking, and she said, that felt like a cleanse. She said, just, the coldness of that water, and just like dunking yourself, and she said that felt like a cleansing of the spirit. And I just kind of looked at her and grinned. I'm like, I do feel a lot better. And that was something I didn't intend on doing for me for that reason. It sounded like it was fun. It sounded like it was going to be for a good cause, and it's not something I normally do, but it was something that I was pulled to do. And when I left, I felt more relaxed after that than I had in a long time. I came home and I slept well, and it was just really nice. And she was absolutely right. It was like a spiritual cleanse. So I don't, it's little things. Sometimes you do make plans to make these things happen, and then sometimes things just happen. And after they're done, you're kind of like, oh, well, I guess I needed that. And somebody saw to it that I got what I needed, because sometimes I'm not so good at that myself. I feel like I've rambled enough. I feel like this has been a very rambly video. I'm tired. I'm going in and I'm going to do a load of laundry and get ready to cook dinner and start work on the other stuff that I need to do this evening. So I hope you guys are having a good week. I hope it's as nice where you are as it is today here. We're supposed to get more snow this weekend, but I am beyond ready for spring. So ready for spring. So I will see you guys next week, and they're chasing each other. I'm just gonna let you watch this for a second. That's mother and daughter, and they are forever chasing each other. But anyway, have a good week, and I will see you here next week. Bless be.